What's up everyone? Today we're taking a look at the unreleased sequel to Dragon's Lair. Dragon's Lair being an arcade hit from the early 90s, but made its way to actually a few different systems, albeit not in maybe the best way it should have done. aka it never really reflected the actual, arcade experience. That's right, but did it actually spawn any sequels? The answer is yes.
Dragon's Lair was clearly trying to be something different in the early 80s. It was that FMV style press a button in time to escape type scenario, but hey, that spawned on to the home console market to say, well, what can we do? That's right, a Sega Genesis title was indeed being produced, and to be fair, actually got quite a damn long way. Now yes, this is correct. In fact, although this technically is an unreleased title, the game did already come out on the Super Nintendo. So this was almost a cancelled port. So the game was already out there, but this was the cancelled port. Now the game is very, very different in almost tone and style from the original arcade hit, being that this time it was a platformer. That's right, making your way through each level, collecting the collectibles and going through the next level. That's right, that really was it. It was a generic platformer. And it makes me wonder, is this the reason that it just got cancelled on the Genesis? Was it that, yes, okay, we had the SNES version, did we really need the Genesis version? Now, the port was being handled by Eden Entertainment Software. They haven't done a huge amount of titles, but the ones they did notably were Robocop 3 for the Master System and Genesis. They also did Joe and Mac, as well as, yes, there were a couple other cancelled titles too. So hey, the portfolio wasn't enormous, but I think they would have been up to the job. Now, from what I can tell, the actual port isn't 100% complete, although the gameplay that is certainly there and the levels that are there feel pretty darn complete. I've got a few levels in, and yes, the difficulty really does shoot off pretty damn quickly. You start with 3 lives, and then basically from there, it really is balls to the walls hard. Yes, you can collect hearts to kind of up your health. There is also a time limit as you're going along, so yes, there is that element as well. The other thing, the real bugbearer, is the fact that, yes, the enemies respawn. I really do not like respawning enemies, but hey, they're here. Once you complete each stage, you then go through to kind of like a map selection screen where you move your head along to the next level. At first, I was confused, but hey, once I understood it, I guess it makes sense. It's actually kind of ingenious way of linking levels. I kind of like it. Now yes, one of the first things I did mention is the fact, yes, the art style is very different from the original. But remember, hey, you're not going to get an FMV type title on the 16-bit system, or certainly not back in those days. Yes, hey, let's face it, nowadays I'm sure someone could probably get it working. But back then, certainly wasn't that easy, because you've got to also remember FMV takes up a lot of space. So I like what they were doing here. I like the fact this was just, like I said, this is the SNES port coming across to the Sega Genesis, so the game was already made. But hey, I think it's a good game. It's actually a pretty difficult game, and one I actually wish did come out on the Sega Genesis, because let's face it, if it was out on the Super Nintendo, why really could it have not come to the Sega Genesis as a release? Because, hey, there's always questions, right? Questions that probably will never be answered.